Hello everyone, this is Joanna. Thank you so much for coming back. These are going to be your messages for the month of August. I am doing them very differently than I have done them up until this point, so they will resemble more of the mid-July reading, where most of my information will be channeled. I'm not using any traditional tarot cards. I'm using only one card from John Holland's deck and one card for food for thought from Colette Reed's. Everything else is this deck here, which I didn't study, so I just look at pictures and then I hear what I'm to say. Of course, for more long-term projections, there are a lot of videos that I published not that long ago. That information is down below. So there is a 6-month video for each sign on Vimeo from July until the end of the year, and of course there is the Uranus 7-year projection, which has a much longer projection to show you what to expect over the next 7 years. So that information is down below. Of course, these are general readings, so they will not apply to everybody. Listen to your other signs. These may offer you greater picture, and more than anything, thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, for private sessions. That information is down below. Thank you so much once again. Please do comment. I love hearing your comments. And without further ado, let's start off with the readings. Hello, beautiful Libra. These are going to be a message for the month of August 2018. Just like in my intro, I'm doing these very differently. And let me start off. I didn't meditate on you. I wanted to do it raw. So let me tune in to your energy and see what we get. What I'm seeing here is a door opening for you. However, you are the one opening that door. So some of you, it represents a brand new opportunity. Some of you, it represents a doorway to a new future and has to do with self-reflection. Many of you are or will be resolving a lot of inner conflict that keeps you on the other side of the door. And when I talk about the other side of the door, what I'm seeing is, imagine a room and you are in a darkened room and the door opens, and behind that open door there is this vastness, and it's freedom and it's light and it's everything you ever want. So clearly there is going to be an opportunity that will allow you to feel freedom. This could be emotional freedom, or this could also be something that will be externally driven, either through education, work, compensation, a relationship. There's a sense of freedom here being shown to me, but you are the one opening that door, and it's showing me that it will require some strength from you, but it will also show you how much strength you have. So there is opportunities that are hanging just outside of your reach, and you need to walk through a certain door. For some of you, you need to walk away from a very oppressive, and I want to say dark situation. When I say dark, it feels oppressive to me. It feels like I want to hide. I just feel like I want to get away. It's that feeling like I want to get away. So if you are stuck in a certain situation, this could also be a stuckness in your own belief system. You are being urged to reflect, self-reflect, pause, self-reflect, accept, and then let go and move on. So that's going to mean for some of you. For some of you, it has to do, financially speaking, it has to do with your financial foundation. Many of you will be choosing to release yourself from your outdated idea of you. In other words, how you see yourself going forward is going to mean something different to you. It's going to be very different to you. It's going to be very freeing. When we have that feeling about us, we will attract situations and opportunities that will reflect that. So whatever it is, whatever you're needing to leave behind, wherever you're needing to choose in order to open that door, you are being asked to release this now, and it's like, do it now. So physical situation that's happening, or an emotional situation that's preventing you from something happening, you are to let go. You are urged to let that go. It has been your anchor for quite some time. It always goes to the past, always. It's always in our past because future hasn't happened yet. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for some of you. I also see the idea of brand new growth, the image of a beautiful white flower. White to me symbolizes enlightenment. It's also spirit. It also symbolizes purity, trust. And I see this beautiful flower coming out of soil and getting ready for the world to see it. So you are going through a growth, and for some of you, it is a financial growth, and for some of you, it's emotional growth. But I always say your finances will almost always be parallel to your emotions. But that's for another topic. So that's what I'm being shown. If you have been carrying something heavy around, whatever heavy is in your life, whatever is causing a lot of weight in your life, whether it's responsibility, whether it's something that isn't yours, whether it's an idea or belief about you, if it's something that has been creating doubt and heaviness and you've been lugging this around for a long time, it's time to let it go. It's time to part with this. This can also be a material, physical manifestation of something that you currently do, but it's too heavy of a burden and you need to leave it behind. And I get a sense of sadness with this little bit because I need to release it, but at the same time, I feel like I'm tied to it emotionally. So it may represent for some of you some inner conflict. So that's what's being shown. But I also want to say everything old is on its way out. So whether you are Libra, whether you're Taurus, whether you're Gemini, Aries, or any other sign, we are all essentially going through the same thing. It's just these things will manifest slightly different in our lives. So you, like anybody else, no different, are ready to move on from something to something much, much better. I see the light. That's the thing that I'm seeing. Some of you will need to open a certain door to see a light. This may be a metaphorical component where you shift something in your belief system and you see the light, and all of a sudden you go, oh my God, I never realized this about life or myself. It's a lot of it is to do with your belief system. Now, moving on to a card that represents the theme. You have sacrifice, or it's the same as hangman in reverse. So a couple of things. You are, in the month of August, will be releasing yourself from a very stagnating situation. And I want to say the word unfortunate. I want to say I almost wish it worked out different, because it doesn't feel like you haven't tried. It actually feels like you've tried very hard, but it just has not produced the results that you wanted. And there's a need to let that go, and you will be letting that go. So if you have been if you have been the hangman, if you have been hanging, or it's equivalent to stuck for quite some time, you will be letting that go. And then I'm hearing responsibility to yourself first. And when we drag weight around, whether it be people, whether it be circumstances, whether it be responsibilities, whatever it is, at the end of the day, we have to make choices and decisions while being responsible, of course, but making choices and decisions that fundamentally serve us. So if you are in a predicament where something is dragging you down, whether it's financially, emotionally, or spiritually, or otherwise, all of the above, and it's been going on for quite some time, chances are you already know you need to release it. But I feel in the month of August, there will be an opportunity for you to do so. For some of you, somebody will be moving out, or you will be moving out. And this is a physical move. Now, whether you will move in August, I don't know. November for some of you, or it could be talks or thoughts about you moving out and closing certain doors behind you. Now, things you are needing to leave behind, or things that you are leaving behind. This is actually fascinating, because this deck, I believe, has 120 cards, so it's much more than regular deck. And these two cards came up. They're practically identical. The only difference, 72 and 71. So let me tune into this, because when I saw that, I thought, oh, that is a really loud message. the things that you're needing to leave behind. Oh, and one is called homing beacon, one is called spiritual commitment. Some of you will be leaving a belief system that has its roots in some sort of a religious belief or a spiritual belief. And believe it or not, for some of you, this has been holding you back. There's various ways I could explain this, but I'm being asked to leave it. So when I'm being asked to leave it, I leave it. Some of you ask me if the guides that I have, if they tell me what to do. No, it's like a very symbiotic relationship. It's like a dance. It's just a beautiful relationship. So no, when I say I hear it, they suggest I say this because they know what you want to hear or you need to hear, and then I say it. Point is, for some of you, you will be leaving your spiritual belief behind. Okay, the way you see yourself fit in the world, particularly when it comes to money or physical manifestations. Perhaps your religion or belief system said that you are not worthy, and you fundamentally have developed the truth about you that you are not worthy. And when you have that truth or belief about you, you will continually create life that will present to you the idea that you're not getting enough. So if you have been committed to a certain way of believing and it stems from some sort of a religious background, you either are leaving it behind or you are being asked to look at it and leaving behind. 7 and 9 is number 9, and that's about letting go. So leaving behind, letting go, pretty much the same thing. Homing beacon, to me, that to me symbolizes your true nature or your true spirituality. What do I mean by this? What you truly believe is the essence of you may be very contradictory to the belief you've had up until this point. The message I want to say here is pay homage to yourself. My brain is trying to come in here. Paying homage to yourself is, I believe it's being accepting yourself. So a lot of it has to do with acceptance. When we do not accept ourselves because we feel unworthy, because we feel we're not good enough, because we feel somehow fundamentally we're flawed because our community or our society or our whatever has made us believe that's the case, you need to examine those belief systems about you now and ask yourself if it is what you want to continue believing or if it's time to unhook yourself from that. A lot of it will be tied to religion. So some of you may have a religious background, come from a very religious background. You may not say yourself may not be religious, but you may come from a background that was very religious, and because of it you have learned certain truths about you, and it's in part of your belief system. But it has to do with your foundation. It's particularly if you're feeling stuck, financially speaking, a lot of it I feel has to do with a sense of worthiness or unworthiness. Now you also have the word arrogance, another 1 and 8, which is 9. So let me just tune in here and see what I feel here. You might be dealing with someone who is very judgmental, either very judgmental of you or very judgmental of the situation. So be prepared. For some of you, you are one who is being very judgmental, and you need to ask yourself, how is your belief reflecting your judgment? In other words, your judgment is based on your beliefs. So if you find yourself in a situation when you are judging someone, it is worthwhile taking time and ask yourself a very important question. What do I believe about the situation in front of me that I'm judging? And why am I so passionate about judging this? What does this represent in me that perhaps I don't want to see? So that's one aspect. Another aspect is if you are feeling unfairly judged by someone, or if you have felt judged by someone, it is important to understand that if you accept that judgment about you, that then that responsibility is on you. In other words, become responsible for who you are, and so obviously become responsible for who you are, but there's another message here. Take responsibility for what you want to achieve. And if you are not achieving something despite the fact that you really want it, then you need to ask yourself a question. What is it that I am unaware of that is preventing me from achieving the very thing that I want? And that will generally take you to a deeper concept of you, and it will prompt some questions. It'll prompt some things that you can be asking yourself. Again, we're talking here about being true to yourself and having your own truth, and we're talking about you being committed to some belief system, or to some idea about you. So that's another message here that I'm hearing. Again, I'm hearing the word oppression. And I'm getting this in my solar plexus. Couple things. Some of you may have issues with digestive system. Chances are that it stems from you feeling lack, L-A-C-K, either about you, about your life, about the world in general, about money, whatever it is, confidence. There is something linking here me to the sense of feeling of lack. I also hear, I don't get everything I deserve. So if you believe you deserve something and you're not getting it, chances are deep inside you don't believe you deserve. You think you deserve it, but it's not a belief. It's a thought. It's not a belief. So every time we have a contradictory situation where we believe something, but it's not happening, chances are what you believe here is a thought, but it's actually you're not getting the thing you want is generated by something much, much deeper inside of you that you need to uncover first. You also have the card good intention. So let me tune in, and I'm being asked to say the number 10. Yes, 6 and 4 is 10. End of completion, end of a cycle. Very much so. Moving on to a new cycle, starting fresh, starting new. Perhaps that is the door that was being opened, but your effort was required in it. Some of you need to look at your digestive issues. You may have some digestive issues, and a lot of it will be from some unresolved emotions inside of you. So that's for some of you. You're also moving into trusting yourself fully and holding yourself accountable for everything that you do. What do I mean by this? When we want to create something and it's not happening, complaining about it or feeling bad about it is not going to produce any better results. When we look at our life and we take ownership of everything that we create, it shifts our perception and allows us to have a more enjoyable life. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that if you're dealing with some terrible disease that you are creating this, because of course, logically speaking, that would be stupid. Nobody would do that. But this has nothing to do with logic. This has a lot more to do with things we're here to learn about ourselves and observe about ourselves through the struggles and tribulations that we encounter in a physical body. So no, it's not saying that you are to be blamed for every problem that you have, but it does say that you are to become responsible for everything that create. Therefore, your thoughts and your intentions must align with the very thing that you're trying to put into place. In other words, if you are trying to create a very solid career for yourself and you're struggling with this, you need to look at what is within me that is currently preventing me from having a very solid and stable career? Perhaps it's because you haven't yet figured out who you are. Therefore, choosing a career will be very difficult because you don't know what you like. So the responsibility then comes on you in order to realize some things about yourself, learn some things about yourself, so that you can realize some things, and based on that, you can have your intention. In other words, if your intention of what you're trying to create is contradictory to what's happening, then you have to, again, go back and examine your beliefs. Otherwise, you'll be spinning in cycles and circles and not understanding why certain things are not happening. Now, I felt this was brilliant because when I asked for a message about food for thought, the exchanging gifts landed in this position. So for many of you, this is all about your idea of worthiness, self-worth, confidence, but worthiness. More than anything, it's worthiness. So for some of you, it is about allowing others to give to you. And we do that, but oftentimes we have difficulty accepting because we're not open. And oftentimes we don't even know we're not open because it's such a deeply rooted subconscious belief. So if you are trying to create something and deep inside you do not believe you deserve it because at some point in your life it was communicated to you, then chances are it could be standing right in front of you and you would say, I don't know what to do with you because according to my truth, I don't deserve it. So there's a need here to pay attention to what your value is. What do you believe your value is? How valuable do you believe you are? Not a thought, but a belief. Do you feel valuable? Do you let other people value you? Do you allow yourself to be valued? Do you have strong boundaries and say, I have respect for me, therefore I ask to have respect for me from you? When you have more value within you, you become much more prosperous in many ways, not just financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, because feeling prosperous within means feeling fundamentally abundant inside. And since we are everything that we believe, the more you tap into your sense of value within you, the more you will be able to bring that to your life as a corresponding vibration. And I think that's all I want to leave because it's getting a little bit funky. But a lot of it has to do with your value, understanding your value, owning your value, respecting your value by having boundaries, not walls, boundaries, and also by letting others give to you, which means you may need to be a little bit more vulnerable. And that can always be a touchy subject with people because, well, who wants to feel vulnerable? It usually is when we get hurt, right? But I always say when we get hurt, we put up walls, but these walls prevent us from achieving the very things that we want. So it has to be a bit of a balancing act. And that's all I have. Number 7 is being shown to me, so somehow maybe July is connected to you. 7 is a very high vibrating number for me, and it also always represents to me lessons being learned. So in the month of August, don't be surprised if you discover something about you that you didn't previously know. And this may be on the 1st of August, or this can be on the last day of August, and maybe even into a little bit of September. But chances are it has to do with your own sense of value, what you represent, what you believe you represent, who you believe you are, and who you were led to believe you are, because some of this needs some changing for you. And I'm being asked to wrap it up. So that's all I have. If this makes sense to you at some point, I would love for you to comment. I love reading every single one. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and sharing as always. I truly, truly appreciate this. And of course, this is general, so look at your other signs. They may offer you a greater picture, or if you would like a private session, that information is down below. Thank you again. Once again, thank you so much once again. I wish you wonderful luck in August and see you soon. Bye.